The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The New York Jets will have Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson under contract for this year and next year. What about after that? We'll talk about the long-term future of some of these Jet stars, and plus more on the fallout from the NFL draft. Matt O'Leary joins us in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I got just the guy to get us going tonight.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. Here on a Thursday. It's going to be May. I'll make that joke so you don't have to. And joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is our good friend, fellow Jet content creator, the great Matt O'Leary. Matt, happy May 1st, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Still recovering from the marathon of streams from the NFL draft, but finally getting back to normal here and ready to get after it.
Let's do it. So we got a ton to talk about. The Jets, of course, always find a way to give us some news. We'll certainly talk about the Jordan Travis surprising retirement news from yesterday, but we'll start with what I believe is a positive. The Jets exercising the fifth-year options on Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner. Are you surprised about Jermaine? I could ask you about all three, but I think we all kind of understood Garrett and Sauce were no-brainers. Your thoughts on Jermaine, because he is coming off the Achilles injury.
He is coming off the injury, but I do think it's a worthwhile bet to make. I think, watching what the development that he had from year one into year two was really impressive. And unfortunately, we only got to see, a game and a half from him in his third year. Got hurt in the Titans game and lost him for the season. I would imagine he likely starts the season a little bit slow, kind of like a couple of years ago when we saw, Breece Hall didn't really hit his stride into the second half of the year. I would think the same thing from Jermaine, but I'm confident that he's going to get back to the player that, he was. He's still a young guy. And not only like his on the field play, I think, I'm starting to view him as a leader. I think he carries himself really well, outside of just on the field, off the field as well. And I'm excited for him. I'm confident that he bounces back.
His tweet yesterday was just awesome. If you're a Jet fan, Jermaine just gets it. He wants to win so bad. Like, just his attitude, his mentality, the way he plays, he feels like the perfect Aaron Glenn type of player. So I think that relationship is going to work out really well. And I also would not be surprised with CJ Mosley now not on this football team if one of the defensive captains is Jermaine Johnson. I could see Jamie and Sherwood getting the honor. I could see Jermaine being one of the defensive captains. We know Quinn has been one the last couple of years, but we don't know how the Jets are going to do captains now with Aaron Glenn, but Jermaine certainly seems like someone that you could see rocking the C on the jersey.
Absolutely. And that's, exactly what I was referencing his tweet yesterday. I think he just gets it, like you said. And, he's an easy guy to root for. And when he's on and healthy, I think he's a damn good football player. So I'm excited to see him back on the field this year for the New York Jets. I would imagine that he's the exact kind of player that Aaron Glenn wants to keep around.
Here's the tweet that both Matt and I referenced. I showed it on the show yesterday, but that was after we did the monologue on the Jordan Travis situation. Jermaine saying, officially here for year 5. Just want to take a little time to thank the Jets organization, Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn, and Woody Johnson for their belief in me and who I am on and off the field. Though I know it sounds corny, but it couldn't be more true. I barely scratched the surface. As always, y'all will get everything I got. Go Jets. And what this means for folks who maybe don't quite understand the fifth-year options, it means the Jets have their rights for this season coming up, so that's 2025, and 2026. It doesn't mean that they still can't work out long-term extensions with any of these players. And that's where I want to go next. Do you believe when it comes to Sauce and Wilson that the Jets will get something done before the start of the regular season?
Yeah, I do. I think between this time and somewhere during training camp, I think would make sense to get both of those guys done. Now, we just talked Jermaine Johnson, but him coming off the injury, you want to see what he has this year. You're not extending him at this point. But to me, I think if you continue to wait on Garrett and Sauce, their price tag is only going to continue to rise. We saw specifically at corner, the Texans completely blew the market out of the water with what they did with Derek Stingley. So I think the longer the Jets wait, the pricier that Sauce Gardner is going to be. And I think, with same thing with these two guys, their play on the field has dictated a contract extension in my eyes, but then also same thing off the field. I think they're guys who you would like to build your franchise around. So obviously it's up to AG and Darren Muji to see, they haven't played a game for those two yet, but they've had 3 years of tape on both those guys. And if they like what they saw, I think it's worthwhile to extend them.
If you're tuning in, hit the like button. Make sure you are a subscriber to the channel. And that way, if someone gifts a membership at any point, you got a chance to get one. Reminder, this week's top raffle prize is a full-sized Broadway Joe throwback helmet, plus a Justin Fields autographed helmet and a signed Joe Klecko autographed helmet. So, comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. If you want to get in on the conversation with us, we'll take some calls as well coming up on the show. In terms of what the contracts look like, it almost feels like Sauce is easier to do just because there's a clear market set based on someone already in the same draft class as him being paid in Derek Stingley that you alluded to. With Garrett, it's such a more difficult conversation because he doesn't have the stats of the upper echelon elite receivers, but those guys also didn't have 7 quarterbacks in their first 3 years throwing them the football. So I do wonder if that is going to maybe take longer than, say, a Sauce Gardner deal.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think there's a little more nuance to Garrett Wilson because, production's been solid. He's still, wide receiver one level production, but it feels like there's still some meat left on the bone here with Garrett over the first 3 years of his career because he hasn't had one of those monster, 1,400 yard seasons and 10 touchdown seasons. We thought maybe with Aaron Rodgers you'd get to see that, but unfortunately not really the case. There's a chance he might take a little bit longer than Sauce because, like you said, there's no direct comparison, I guess, for Garrett, but I would think he's likely to come in somewhere around $30 million a year.
Would make sense. And I saw a comment here. I'll bring it up on the screen from Joseph. Like, what's the rush to extend any of these guys? They can win 5 or 6 games with or without them. Would have either won and Sauce suck last year. The argument to extend them is if you don't extend them, the trade rumors start to swirl. They feel like the organization's not committed to them. Are they bought in? Are they all in? Do they want to be here? Are they going to be leaders? Like, you want to set the agenda in the locker room that, hey, we pay our hometown stars. These are the guys we drafted, we developed. They're a part of this. It sends that message. It also sends the message to the fan base that we finally have good players. We're going to keep them. It's okay to buy their jerseys. They're not going to be gone. Like, that matters. And, okay, maybe they're not the best of the best at their position, but if you don't extend them, if you don't keep them, you're then going to go into free agency trying to replace them, and you're not going to find anywhere near the level of talent that they already are. They want to be here. They were drafted here. And if you keep them, it just matters for the long-term view of the organization. Like, if you don't extend them, then you're going into free agency, and that's how you get Jermaine Johnson to replace Sauce. That's how you get Le'Veon Bell to replace whoever the running backs are, right? They let Breece go coming off a good year. Oh, you can't pay a running back. Like, this stuff all matters. That's how you stay bad. If you have good players, you want to keep them. Like, that's the goal. And the Jets, to their credit, this new regime, they said that, and they backed it up so far by keeping Sherwood, who was a really good player. They didn't draft him. They didn't develop him. But you know what? They recognized he was good, and they kept him. Like, that's what good organizations do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sets the precedent, right? Like, if you come in and do your job, we're going to reward you with a contract. And I can't think of two better guys than Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. I get it. Sauce had a down year for his standard. He was still, a good player. He wasn't an all-pro level player, which we, grew to expect from him in his first 2 years. But I think the chances of him, returning back to that form is pretty high. I'm very excited to see what Sauce Gardner does with Aaron Glenn. And, you kind of just want both the new GM and the head coach to get off on the right foot. And I think it sends a message to the locker room that, like I just said, if you come in, you do your job, you perform, you're going to get rewarded for it. And like, I get the fans are frustrated that the team hasn't won any games, but not paying Sauce or Garrett isn't going to help them get out of this, long playoff drought.
Right. Like, ultimately, I mean, sure, they've been a part of some losing teams, but if you're ever going to turn it around, you're going to need good players. Like, good coaching alone is not going to overcome from a terrible roster. Like, that's kind of the point. The Jets, I believe, have far more talent than most are giving them credit for, even with how bad last year went. So to maximize said talent, you need to have the players remain on the team. So if the coaching is finally a lot better, like we hope with Aaron Glenn and his staff, you actually can take advantage of these talented players. That's the whole point.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's got to be the goal. You have to have some faith that these guys are going to be the ones who are able to turn it around and have a plan in place. And I would imagine that their plan involves both Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
Now, the other name I want to talk about is Breece Hall. And a lot of people, even yesterday, were like, what about Breece? Well, you got to remember, folks, Breece was not a first-round pick. So he's going into the last year of his rookie deal. Only first-round picks have the fifth-year option on their contracts as a mechanism teams can use. So the question is, can they keep all these guys long-term? I feel like you could keep Sauce long-term. You could definitely keep Garrett long-term, and I believe they will. I think depending on what happens with Jermaine, they either extend him after this year or you could do what you're doing with AVT, right? Coming off another injury season, they let him play on his option year coming up. Makes sense, no problem. Breece is interesting because he's a running back. There were some trade rumors before the draft. If he balls out, yes, he's a free agent, but you also have the franchise tag. So your thoughts on the ability of keeping Breece long-term beyond the 3 first-round guys that we know are here for this year and next year?
I think you nailed it with the franchise tag right there. I was not a fan of the idea of trading Breece Hall. How I would let this play out is have him play his 4th year. If he plays well, which I think he will this year, then you use the franchise tag, which is like $13 or $14 million for a running back. It's not an astronomical number. And the reason why we see so many running backs get franchised is because of that. The market is at a point where, it's not like you're franchise tagging a quarterback and you have to have this huge cap hit. You're looking at $13 or $14 million. So that's how I would approach it. And that would keep him on the Jets for 5 years if he plays out this year and next year. Unfortunately, at the running back position, it's just very rare that we see guys have, this long sustained peak. I think, Derrick Henry is maybe a good example of someone who's, played well into his later in his career. But unfortunately, usually at this position, by the time you're hitting 27 years old, you're starting to slow down a little bit. So I think my plan would be have him play out this year. If he plays well, franchise tag him. And then maybe by the time he's getting to 27 years old, you're letting someone else, pay that big time contract. I think you're muted, Jake.
You were correct. I was pontificating about Breece Hall and how this offense is going to be built around running the ball. And I will talk more about that now. They take Armand Membu with their first pick, Matt. They have the offensive line in place. To me, it would have been criminal to trade Breece Hall coming off a down year when his value would be so low. I'm glad they kept him. I like Braylon Allen. I like Isaiah Davis. I'm not anointing them, but I think they have some talent. I think they could have a legitimate rushing attack as long as Engstrand's a creative play caller. We know Fields is dynamic as a runner. Like the strength of this team should be the O-line. It should be the ability to run the football if they're going to have any chance of surprising and being a decent team this year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the wide receiver room too outside of Garrett Wilson. It's not a very deep wide receiver room. Sure, you have guys like Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds, but I don't think anyone's, writing stories about how the Jets have this awesome wide receiver room behind Garrett Wilson. So to me, that screams they're going to run the football. And that's the strength of Justin Fields as well. Has some work to do as a passer, but is a dynamic rusher. I would not be surprised at all to see this team somewhere in the top 5 in rushing in 2025.
I mean, there's a scenario where they could lead the NFL in rushing attempts. And the Lions, I checked, they were 3rd in rushing attempts last year. So this idea that they're just going to throw it around the yard because that's what, Goff was able to do. Well, they were balanced, man. They ran the crap out of the football. Like that to me has to be a staple of this offense for them to have any chance. Because while I do think maybe Fields can improve as a passer even more, he's gotten better each year. I don't think he's ever going to be, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady from the pocket. I think his strength is his athleticism, and you got to tap into that as well.
Right, but if Tanner Engstrand's any good, you're hoping that he's developing an offense that's going to play to his strengths. And I think obviously playing to his strengths would be the run game. And that's why you drafted Armand Membu in the first round, right? Because you want to, finish your offensive line. You have 3 running backs that you like. You drafted a tight end in the second round who, he's a good pass catcher and maybe has a little ways to go as a blocker, but he's going to help in the run game. He plays a lot of inline tight end, Mason Taylor. So I would totally expect to see them use a lot of 2 tight end sets and just play some smash mouth football. 2009 all over again.
Hell yeah, baby. Ground and pound with Rexy is back. A week ago, the NFL draft got underway. Hard to believe it's already been a week. First time I've had you on since last Thursday morning, Matt. Give us your thoughts on the totality of this draft class here. What did you like? What didn't you like? Your assessment on the 2025 Jets draft class.
So I really like how the draft started, especially with the first 2 picks. Membu and Mason Taylor are 2 guys we spent a lot of time talking about. I think immediately they filled 2 very massive positions of need at right tackle and tight end. With Thomas, I was kind of hoping they'd go receiver at that point, but hard to get mad at the value that they got with this guy. I thought he was going to go at the early second round, and they got him all the way at 73. I would not be surprised to see him starting one day. I don't know if that's right out of the gate this year, but I think he projects well as another starting outside corner across from Sauce Gardner. Day 3 was a little bizarre for me. I really hated the Arian Smith pick. I thought that was a massive reach. I thought he was going to go a 6th or 7th round, and they took him at 110. Malachi Moore, I would say, was my favorite day 3 pick. I think he fits the defense, what Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn are going to be looking to do. Longtime starter at a big program in Alabama, another guy who's a good leader. So I would say that's the highlight of the draft. But overall, I thought they did a pretty good job in the 2025 draft.
When they made the Arian Smith pick, what was their reaction on the Talking Jets live stream?
It was not a good one. It was definitely not a good one. We were hoping wide receiver, but Arian Smith wasn't the name on our list. He also had some interior defensive linemen, which were still on the board, and I was very surprised they didn't take one, at least in the draft. I know they signed a UDFA or 2. But I just kind of the consensus from the 3 of us was that day 3 got a little weird. I think they were reaching for players that they just happened to like. And Green Bean said, and I think he's right. I think this new regime maybe going forward needs to learn how to read the board on day 3 a little bit better.
Yeah, the first couple of days, it just felt like good value, good approach, premium positions, big schools. And then it's like, well, we'll draft a gunner in the 4th round. Oh, we'll take a special teamer guy and trade up for him. I don't know. It just felt like they lost sight of the board. But at the end of the day 3 picks most likely won't work out. So as long as they got the first 2 days correct, I think we'll look back on this draft class and feel pretty good about it. So I was around like a B-. B. Did you give a grade on your show?
I did. I was at a B-, so right in that same range as you. And look, if even one of AZ Thomas or Malachi Moore hit, in addition to the first 2 rounds, and you come away with 3 starters, I think that's a pretty solid draft, especially for a first draft for a new regime too. So I don't want to weigh too much of day 3 and really pull down the grade because of that. I think the first couple of rounds are significantly more important, and I love the approach early on. They were going with youth, and they were going with athleticism and upside.
Quick PSA to anyone who's on my Patreon, and that means you have access to the Discord. If you want to join us for our next Asmaniac event, Asmaniacs at the ballpark, we're headed to Yankee Stadium on June 29th. Here's a view from the seats. We have about 35 tickets left. If we don't sell out through the Patreon/Discord audience, I will open it up to the general public, but there's tickets available if you want to join us in the Bronx to watch the Yankees and the Athletics on Sunday, June 29th. First pitch is 1:30 p.m. We'll do a pregame meetup at Billy's Sports Bar right across the street for any Asmaniac that's 21 plus. So come join us at Yankee Stadium, June 29th. 35 tickets as of this morning are available. So go now, check the dashboard for the Patreon or the announcement tab for the Discord, and you can find the link and lock in your spot. You could purchase up to 4 tickets for your group. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Let's talk about Jordan Travis now. What was your reaction yesterday when you saw the announcement that he is stepping down, he is retiring due to that injury he suffered when he was still at Florida State?
Yeah, the first reaction is just hard not to feel bad for this kid, right? Like, gets drafted, but unfortunately he's never going to play a snap in the NFL, not going to even have an NFL practice because of this injury. And it's unfortunate. I thought he was someone who, was an exciting quarterback prospect. He went late on day 3 because of that injury. The reports at the time were that he was going to be ready for training camp, which is why I think the Jets drafted him in the first place. But, as we know, he suffers a setback and, just not medically cleared to play football anymore. So, from the player side, I think it's definitely tough to hear that news. And again, my first reaction was just, I feel for the kid. For the Jets now on their side, I think there's a bit of an open competition here with the UDFA quarterback out of Missouri that they signed and Adrian Martinez for this third quarterback spot.
I completely forgot until yesterday that I guess Adrian Martinez is still kind of hanging around on the practice squad.
Yeah, he's still around. Another camp arm from last year. He had a couple nice moments in the preseason.
Did. He gave us some fun at our preseason watch party last year, which, by the way, shout out to Jet fans as maniacs. The fact that we could actually do a preseason watch party and had 100 people show up to that. Unbelievable. This fan base, man. The best. We deserve better, Matt. I'm sick. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, could you we were talking before we got started here. Could you imagine if this team was actually good? You had so many people come out to your draft party. We had thousands of people watching our draft, stream coverage live. And it's just like, can you imagine if this team was even any good, what the numbers would look like?
Oh man, I dream about it. I really do. Here's my thing with, the Jet angle on Jordan Travis retiring. Obviously I said everything yesterday about how bad it is. And I wish him well. Just, you never want to see something like that. Just horrible. But they knew obviously he wasn't healthy yet going into this draft. It's not like the Jets were just surprised all of a sudden that he was still grinding through this rehab and wasn't 100%. They knew. They were well aware. Maybe to defend the Jets a little, maybe they didn't know he was necessarily going to retire, but they knew they could not count on him to be in their plans to be like their quote-unquote developmental third-string quarterback guy on the roster. I think it is fair criticism, knowing what we know now, to say, why not take a chance on a guy on day 3? Because I believe in the model, hey, you take a quarterback every year if you don't have a franchise quarterback. Just add more players to that pipeline. Where do you stand on that? Because part of my reaction after the draft was, well, I guess they think Travis is going to be healthy. That's why they didn't even bother drafting a quarterback. Now we know they knew he wasn't healthy, and they didn't take any quarterback. I know they signed a UDFA after the draft, but your thoughts, is that a fair criticism, or do you not mind the Jets avoiding quarterback altogether in the draft?
I get where you're coming from, but I personally don't think it's a huge deal. You can make the case, and you did, that you should take a quarterback every year until you find the guy. But I just think the likelihood of any of these day 3 guys, and that's the earliest that I would have went on taking a quarterback. I think, with how the Jets and their approach on the first 2 days, they were trying to just fill out needs and, best players available. And that was kind of my approach going into this draft. I think, I thought they should build out the roster, give Justin Fields a chance to be the guy. If he's not, then you're looking for your quarterback in the 2026 draft. So my approach hasn't really changed, even with this Jordan Travis news. It's not like, Jordan Travis was going to necessarily play anyway, unless, you got to a point where you're like, I don't know, 2-8, and you just want to see what he has down the stretch. But if even worst case scenario, let's say Justin Fields isn't looking good, but the Jets are sitting at like 3-4 through the first 7 games of the year, if they were to make a quarterback change, they'd be going to Tyrod Taylor anyway to try to salvage their season. So I don't really think it's a massive deal that they didn't take somebody on day 3.
The only argument would be if, Fields gets hurt, you go to Tyrod, doesn't work, you fall out of it. At least you would have someone to play down the stretch to evaluate, or some scenario like that. Like what the Giants did with Dart. Now it's a little different because the Giants obviously had enough conviction to move into round 1 and take him. But, they have Russell Wilson. They'll try and win games, as many as they can with him. If he gets hurt, they're not immediately screwed because they have Jameis. But if they're out of it, they can go to Dart, and they can at least start the evaluation process on him, and that might save Brian Dable and Joe Shane's job. From a Jet standpoint, no one's worried about Glenn and Muji being fired if they win 3 or 4 games in year 1, but it at least gives you that option before you're likely going quarterback in round 1 in 2026 to have just someone else on the team.
Yeah, and it would make, if God forbid the Jets did start 2-8 and you have to watch the remaining 5 or however many games are left. It would be a little, give us something to watch for if they had a young guy and see what he is. But again, for kind of just where I'm at, like, to me, it's either Justin Fields is your answer or someone in the 2026 class is likely to be your answer. I know, Shador Sanders fell, and Will Howard was around on day 3, and some other guys the fan base liked, players that the fan base liked were available on day 3. I wouldn't have hated it on the third day, but again, like, I don't think this was a particularly strong quarterback class, so it's not a huge deal for me.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. No one has gifted a membership yet, but when they do, you have a chance to get one if you're a subscriber to the channel and you like the video. The Joe Namath full-size helmet is our top giveaway this week. Justin Fields autographed helmet, prize 2. Prize 3 features a Joe Klecko signed helmet. And let's add a 4th prize, shall we? Signed Aaron Glenn 8x10 photo. All these come with certificates of authentication, so gift away for your chance to win any of these 4 prizes. This was a good question earlier from Boomtown, and Matt, you're a hockey guy, so you'll appreciate this. In hockey, there are instances where players give a hometown discount when signing a new contract with their team. Any chance our young Jets guys do anything similar?
I don't necessarily think so for either Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson. It's a little different circumstances. Like in hockey, there's the hard salary cap. And I guess you could say the same thing in the NFL, that there's a salary cap, but usually it's the veteran guys who, are signing to a cheap deal because they want to see their team, compete for a Stanley Cup. The Jets really aren't in that spot where, they're looking to bring in other veterans and keep, cap hits low. I think, this is the first time that these guys are getting paid. And I think they're going to cash in on a big time contract extension, as they should. They both played really well to start their careers.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Hit the like button if you haven't. Ladies and gentlemen, the first person to gift a channel membership is Ricky NY, Mr. Florida State himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what we need to do right now. For the first time since news of Jordan Travis's injury has been announced, we will now check in with Mr. Florida State himself. It is Ricky time.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Jordan Travis, you know he's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hey, what's happening, Jake? What's happening, Matt?
How are you, Ricky?
I'm good. It's weird. Like yesterday at 6:04 a.m., my brother, who lives in Tallahassee, texted me and said, "Big news about Jordan Travis coming." And that's all it said. And I got all excited. I thought it was good news. And then a few hours later, the news was everywhere. And it was kind of a shock. In talking to people since then, from what I've gathered, it sounds like they knew this was going to happen before the draft. So it's not like he just came out of nowhere and told them and screwed them after they didn't take a quarterback. They knew ahead of time. Too bad. I would have loved to have seen him do for the Jets what he did in college. He gave me some great memories. I was able to buy one of these.
Wow.
Nice. I bought it the day he was drafted, and it's a shame. However, it sounds like there's a good possibility Jordan is going to come back to Florida State and be a coaching intern under Tony Tokaz. So it would be awesome. But yeah, wish him nothing but the best. You know what? I honestly think that the reason we didn't take a quarterback is, and I'm not even sure who the free agent quarterbacks are right now, but I think they said, like, we could get a Dalton or a Wentz or a Tannehill, and any of those retreads is as good as what we're going to get at the end of this draft. And I kind of feel like that too. Like, I was very uninspired by the quarterbacks at the end of that draft. And The other thing that I wanted to say is about the draft in particular, like how everybody liked the way it started and didn't really like the way that it finished. This is Aaron Glenn's deal. This is his vision, his team. He's hired all his own people, but the people he didn't hire is the scouting staff. Those are holdovers still because they, weren't going to go into this with like 2 weeks to prepare. It takes these guys all year to prepare. As soon as the draft ends, the scouts are already looking at the next crop. And I think it's really obvious that what they did at the end of the draft wasn't so much that they lost sight of the board. It looks like they relied heavily on their area scout, as all the players came from Miami, Alabama, and Georgia, all in that one region. So it looks like they relied heavily on their area scout for the end of that draft. And I can see that. And with that being said, I think that once Glenn gets done revamping the scouting department, next year there'll be an even better, more solid plan going into it. The whole thing. Like, obviously, he was very involved in the first part, but then, like I said, relied on their area guy for the last part. And Matt, it was awesome. You started out today with your trademark 100%. Like, you always say that when you really like something. You should get a shirt that says like 100% Jets that you can sell for your show. Good idea.
I like how you think.
I love that. Ricky, then you got to get a shirt that says smoke and debate.
You know what? One that says at any rate. Like I always say at any rate. Johnny always says in regards to, and yeah. Matt always says 100%. We all have our go-to things that we like.
I have a ton of crutch words. I'm sure you guys watch me every day. What are some of my Jake Asman buzzwords? Write them in the chat.
Yeah, I'll have to think on that. There definitely are some.
100%. Every radio guy has a content creator. All of it. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, what is the one that you always say? Give me a minute. Short-term memory thing, but I'll think of it. I'll type it in the chat when I think of it. But there's one that you always say. It's a quote from a movie that you always say. I'll think of it in a minute and type it in the chat.
All right.
But at any rate, hey man, this is the Aaron Glenn thing. Time to go, and all of our winning teams, whether it was that Rex era or, back in late 90s, early 2000 with Parcell, it was run the ball, play good defense. That's Jets football, and I am so glad that it's back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ricky NY.
You get the fuck out.
Thank you, Ricky. At any rate, Ryan Rivera, I'm sick of this. Here we go. When we're in season.
Yes.
Buzzword, everything stinks. Mr. Bonesy, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Put a shirt on Beastbreaker. And I want to date Margot Robbie. I was thinking of more of like at any rate, like that type of lines, like just little transition words or just certain things.
I think you say 100% too. I've heard you say 100% before.
I've heard, well, I feel like I've used 100% too. Yep. 100%. Boomtown, we have the best fans. I do say that because I truly believe that. Like Matt and I live this every day. Like this is not normal for other fan bases to care as much as Jet fans do and support this many great creators. Like I was in Houston. There's 2 total content creators that cover the Texans. Houston's the 4th biggest city in the U.S. That's it. Like there's so many examples. Even the Giants, they have like one real guy with a big following, Bobby Skinner. That's it from what I have seen.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and that's it's why that we're able to do what we do every day, Jake, is because of how passionate this fan base is and how many people we have tuning in to watch our shows.
Phantom Green, real and spectacular from Seinfeld. I do say that a lot. Yep. Elton B, from Your Lips to God's Ears. I use that a lot. Math ain't mathin'. Yep. Boomtown. Let's see. Yep, that's when I'm scrolling through the comments here, trying to figure out what I'm going to bring up next. Leon, nowadays ants do have balls. Well said. Juno, they stink. It's true. Anyways, I like to quote Charles Gorman out too. Let's get to more of your calls, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Kyle.
What's up, Kyle?
We all have our little idiosyncrasies. I think Gator took a little bit of a shot at my Brooklyn accent with the not this one, but that one in the intro. So it's fair. It's all fair. I like to think of it as an educated Brooklyn accent, but it's sometimes I lapse a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's an awful shame about Travis. I didn't watch him too much in college. If the potential was there for a second or third rounder, maybe they saw a tremendous amount of value and they wanted to risk it for the biscuit, as is sometimes occurs on the show. Very late in the fifth round, but it just seems like doesn't seem like no matter who the GM is that our picks are very risk averse. Like I don't mind ever in the 6th or 7th round taking a wild flyer on a guy if you think that it can really pay off. But I mean, you've seen the 4th and 5th rounds guys kind of fall through the cracks. Like I'm not saying that drafting Joe Milton would be the guy instead of Jordan Travis, but the Patriots have already flipped him for a 4th rounder to the Cowboys. Were they a future 4th? Were they able
sounds
to
right.
get?
Yeah, they definitely flipped him. I don't know what the exact return was.
So I'm hopeful that once, like Ricky was saying, once Muji and Glenn get their scouting staff in place, that they'll be able to play the board and trust their people a little bit better. And just recognize and take that value, because that's what the draft is all about. And I don't feel like we did that this year. I think we were just like the trade backs weren't there. It was all trade ups, and I value when we have a lot of holes the fact that we would have a little bit more picks. As far as the contracts go with these guys, to me, Sauce and Garrett are the absolute priority. It's good that we have this option year for Jermaine. I would be open if he outperforms to tagging him for an additional year. But considering some of the injuries that he and Breece have had, they are not the priority. This league is brutal with regards to contracts and how they approach it. So they're probably going to be the low men on the totem pole when it comes to getting paid. That doesn't mean that things could change where Jermaine truly outperforms and we have to really take a hard look at it after 2026. But I can't see a scenario where we are going to sign him long term like we are with the other two guys.
Fair. The thing with Jermaine, he's such like a big like glue guy, like leader, that and the injury happened early in last season, meaning maybe we see kind of what we saw a little bit with Rodgers coming off the same injury. Like he gets better as the year goes on. If he has a good year, like he's playing like the Jermaine Johnson of old by the end of this upcoming season, you might want to get out ahead of it and extend him, because you might be getting him at not a hometown discount, but he'd take the money, he'd take the security, you lock him in, because look at the going rate for pass rushers now. They're making $40 million a year. And I'm not saying Jermaine's Myles Garrett or someone like that, but you could basically get him at an efficient deal. If he proves he's healthy, he gets better as the year goes on, and you extend him after 2025. I could see that being maybe a smart move by Muji if they could do something like that.
And I mean, if you were ever going to get anyone on a discount, it might be him, because he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I think he was pretty grateful that, we said to him that we were going to go up and get him, and then we followed through and actually did it.
Yep.
So, that's something to watch for the future. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, appreciate you. Your thoughts on that, Matt? The idea of potentially getting something done with Jermaine if he proves he's healthy.
Yeah, if he proves he's healthy after this year, I'm definitely open to it. And like you said, the longer you wait, I think the higher the price tag goes up. Now, I don't think he's going to get $40 million a year, but could he get 30 with how the league is going? And I wouldn't put it past him if he has another big season with close to 10 sacks.
Mike, Jets running game will be improved with the addition of Membu. I hope it better be. I mean, can their running game be any worse? They were last in running.
Yeah, they were. I think they were last, especially in rushing attempts. So I think they're going to run the ball significantly more. And there was issues on the offensive line, and I think the new offensive line coach is going to have a big impact on that because I really did have my criticisms of Keith Carter. I think the new coaching plus the new addition at right tackle is going to be a big help.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first membership group bunch that has been sent in has been from Green Gang 365.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
If you hear your name called, you're a channel member. You get a free super chat for the month. You get a badge next to your name. You get access to the highlight reel from our draft party that I posted and a whole lot more. Doug Smith, Joseph Zamborski, B-Host, Ray Danger, and Donald Wallace. You are all channel members. But wait, Billy Mays here. There's more. Cincy Matt is gifting with Jets Matt O'Leary on the show. Cincy Matt is in the Asmaniac raffle for 10. He has gifted 10 channel membership.
I got just the guy to get us going tonight.
Big T Charlie, Chris Peterson, L.A., Liam DeFonso, AZ Jets, Julian Manfredo, and Ed Vargas. I think there's actually two more squeezed in there. Let's see, Zach Burkhart and Lou Rodriguez also receiving channel memberships as well. If you got a question for Matt or myself to answer, write it in. Good one here from 25. Who do you guys think is the highest ceiling out of any of our UDFAs? I haven't done the full deep dive into that just yet, Matt, but I'm intrigued by a couple of the names. Your thoughts on this question here from 25?
This isn't going to be a sexy answer, but I think the one who has the biggest impact is the kicker, King Davis, right? Like they have a really big issue with that. Zerline, unfortunately, just was not very good last year. And I'm sure that this kid's going to come in and compete for the job. So honestly, again, like maybe it's the quarterback, Cook that they signed, or some of the additions are more special teams guys, but I think the kicker might honestly be the one who has the biggest impact on this team, even though it's not a position you think of first.
Cincy Matt, if I win any prize, it goes to the Beast. Peak entertainment lately. Wow.
That's
Beastbreaker winning people over. Have you been following the latest saga with Beast, the Bobby Beasley arch nemesis saga?
No, can you fill me in? Last I saw Beast, he was shopping in the thrift store.
Yes, so Beast has a arch nemesis of a couple years that's been messing with him, a guy by the name of Bobby Beasley, who claims to have known Beast for many, many years, going back to their high school days. Timelines don't seemingly match up. Beasley called in. They went head-to-head, and then Mr. Bonesy came on to Beast's defense, and the chat kind of rallied around Beast, exposing Bobby Beasley for the fraud that he is. So basically, while Beast might be polarizing, when it came time to back one of our own, this community backed Beastbreaker against Bobby Beasley.
I love it. Wouldn't expect anything less.
And because Bonesy did such a great job defending him, Bobby Beasley actually asked during the back and forth if Bonesy was an actual lawyer.
Are you an actual lawyer or what, man?
Yeah, I am a lawyer.
Only this show, man. Only this show.
Incredible. The video with them shaking hands with the big head is just too good.
Unbelievable. So, better call Bonesy. I mean, that's what we learned a couple of days ago on the show. Wild Wave says, is it a good idea to pay Sauce $30 million a year in a rebuild? I don't think this is a true rebuild. The Jets are going to try and make the playoffs this year. More likely they don't. But I got news for you people. If they go another year two, without making the playoffs, are we still rebuilding, or does Aaron Glenn need to make the playoffs in his third year? He's going to be fired like the previous coach. Like, that's how this works.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got to end this playoff drought eventually, right? And, I don't think you're getting any closer to doing that if you're not paying Sauce Gardner and instead trying to trade him.
Man, comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Boomtown says, has anyone commented this Bonesy intro would make a better commercial than the ones you see for law firms on television? It's true.
That 100% factual from Boomtown.
Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Let's get to another call right now. He is wearing an old school attire on the show. We have not seen this look in quite some time. So in honor of that, let's go back to the OG intro for our next caller.
Well, you know, I love the Yankees and the Jets, and to read the super chats are more than just a hat. Bobby.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, right, Jake? That
Wow,
brings back.
you're wearing the Babe Ruth hat. I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
everybody asked me on my where's your old Babe Ruth hat? I wore it last night. I found it finally.
A hat so
Look how
old.
old that is. Look how
I know.
old it is.
For those maybe newer to the show, when Bobby first started calling the program a couple years ago, he'd only wear that hat. And I said, oh, that's the hat you got from Babe Ruth because it's so old. Babe wore it. And then I finally bought Bobby a different Yankee hat.
Yeah,
was
brand new one.
That's starting to
Brand
look
new
pretty dirty too, though. I'm not going to lie.
No, this is a clean one compared to this one.
Well, yeah. I mean, that one's from the 20s.
Hey, Tuesday night, you wouldn't believe who me and my brother had dinner with, Jake.
I heard you had dinner with Alon Allen Avital.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a real nice guy. He took us out to the 99. We had a great dinner.
99. Now, that is such a Vermont thing. I love that.
Well, I told him there's not much in Brattleboro where I live crap for restaurants.
Tell us about your dinner with Allen. What was that like?
It was great. We had a great time. We brought him a thank you card, and we talked to him. He's a great guy. He's a smart guy. Very
do you think
friendly.
he just puts on a tough guy internet persona? He's actually a nice guy.
Yeah, we did that when we were on your show. Remember, I asked for the cartoon character. You know, we're friends now. We're good friends. Yeah.
You're friends, but he once referred to you language to everyone if there's kids around. He once referred to you as this.
I wouldn't have settled for 20. That fucking moron. That fucking moron. That fucking moron.
Yeah, well, you do things to me too, which I don't like, but I forgive you all the time. So.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Alan's a good guy.
Well, think about it. You wouldn't know Alan if it wasn't for me. That dinner never would have happened.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, well, he asked me he asked us who got us hooked on your show. It was Michael sent me to your show, but I used to call in all the time. Michael Harley called in, but now he's calling more.
We love that Mikey calls in. Yeah, it's great.
Yes, I know. He's gonna call him more. Hi, Matt. I didn't say hi to you.
What's up, Bobby? How you doing?
Good. I can't wait till you're getting married this year.
Yes, few more months away.
Congratulations, July, huh?
November.
Oh, November. Well, that's more than a couple of months. Hey, you know what?
Right?
Happy. Last night the Lakers lost. I was so happy they got killed. Yay! Knicks better win tonight, though. Knicks got to win tonight.
They better. I don't feel great about it, but
no, I don't either. I thought they were going to win the other night when you went. I was shocked they lost.
They should
have. That's why we went out to dinner Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So, too bad they didn't.
So what did Alan order for dinner?
He ordered like you did, like a Chipotle bowl with he got the brown rice. He got good hot stuff. We got the chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken meat, Michael. You got corn and mashed potatoes. That was good.
Nice. Any appetizers?
No. It was like 7:30 at night. We eat. Me and my brother don't eat past that time. So it was hard for us to eat late dinner. Heavy dinner.
Heavy dinner. I see. Any dessert?
No dessert.
Really? He couldn't pay up for some dessert?
No, I didn't want dessert. Yeah. We couldn't even finish our dinner. How could we eat the dessert? No.
Wow.
No, we had a good time, though.
That's
and he's coming up to a Jet game in like when the weather is better. Warmer.
Should we let him tailgate with us, or should we have security remove him from the parking lot?
You'll like him. He'll really like you. Trust me.
You think we'll hit, Alan and I will hit it off in person?
Yes, in person. Yes.
Interesting. All right.
Yes.
I'll take your word for it.
Beast Break, everybody likes Beast Breaker. He's a cool dude. He's calmed down. And who is this Bobby Beasley? He looks like a nerd.
That's Beast's arch nemesis, but don't worry. I think I think we have a plan to put Bobby Beasley in his place.
Yeah, if you need help, I'll take care of the schmuckhead. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow, there you go. You're coming to Beast
I'm not
defense.
afraid of him. He doesn't make me shiver in my pants. He looks like a munchkin, like my size. He looks like a goofball. So
I see.
I'll take care of him for Beast if he needs something.
When was the last time you shivered in your pants?
A long time. No. Okay. Hey, guess what I'm going to do after your show? I'm going to walk outside today. It's 70 degrees out today.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And I'm decided to have one show after your show on the second show because I could go longer at night, too. I don't have to break it into 2 shows. So
yeah, why don't you just do one show?
That's what I'm going to do. Go outside, yes. 70-degree weather finally.
Yeah, get your steps in, Bobby. Keep the weight off.
Yes. Oh, I know. That's what I'm going to do. You got to see a new me when you see me at Yankee Stadium. Walking right into the stadium.
I still don't think you're coming, Bobby. You better get your ticket
we
locked
are.
in. You better
Yeah,
go.
well, I'm not in your Discord, am I?
Yeah, you are. Of course you are.
Okay, I'll sign up. I'll call my lady today. She's here. Joy is here today. For her.
Wow.
She's
okay.
the haircut lady. My haircut lady works at the place she owns. So Joy is a big Yankee fan, and we wanted to go to a game together. Maybe this will be a great game.
Yeah, you want to hear this grand plan? So Bobby's plan is to buy a ticket, him and Mikey, to this Yankees outing I'm doing. You're invited too, Maddie, even though Met fans are allowed. It's all good.
Okay.
And them too.
And Bobby's plan is to buy a ticket with him and his brother, and then ask his hairdresser or is that who she is?
The owner. She cuts hair too, but
okay.
she's
So
the
owner of the hairdressing place, if she wants to join the Midnight Brothers, so she could drive them down to and from.
Well, her husband too will join too. Her husband will come with us too. He's a Yankee fan too.
Okay, so the barbershop / hair salon owner and husband are going to drive Bobby and Mikey from Vermont to the Bronx and then back to be at the Asmaniac meetup.
Yeah, well,
What
will meet a lot of people. They're very friendly people, like we are. We never shut up, me and my brother. So
You want to come? By the way, you got to drive.
What?
I said, you want to come? By the way, you got to drive us, though.
No. That's normally she wants us to do anyway. We were going to plan on coming down this year. They were going to drive us down anyway.
Okay.
So this is a good Sunday afternoon. We got good seats and mezzanine, right? They call. Mezzanine.
I don't think it's the mezzanine. It's called. It's the 200. It's right next to the press box. A very good seat. Here's a view of your seat.
Oh, press box. Oh, we could see Michael K. Maybe. Oh, yeah, Michael K.
I like how you do the ooh, Michael K. That's the same noise that you made when you thought you saw Gary's wife.
Oh no, yeah, I remember that. That was 2:00 in the morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby going ooh, Michael K. in a
yeah, you can show that. That's fine.
Sexual innuendo tone was very similar to this classic moment from last year.
Oh, is that Gary's wife? Hi, Gary's wife. Oh, there she is. Got a good looking. Oh, that was like a year ago, right? Less than
I'm going to clip this and send this to Michael and be like, one of my listeners is attracted to you. Are you interested, Michael? I know you're married.
Oh, well, I met him in person. Me and Michael met him in person. That's the one that Don Manley didn't sign the kid's autograph, but they took time to sign the autograph, and we met him in person. I don't think he remembers me, but he's a nice guy. I remember him and John Sterling.
Ooh, John Sterling.
Yeah, he was in together, signing autographs for the kid. Because the kid was crying that Don Manley just left and he cried.
Yeah, Bobby hates Don Mattingly because apparently he didn't sign for a kid.
Yeah, and they called him an asshole for that. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Well, Matt, it's always nice to talk to you. Jake, it's nice talking to you this glorious morning. It's beautiful outside. Now I'm going to get my fat ass off this chair and walk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight.
Well, you know that Al's a lion crap of crap. You should check out my new hat. The Jets are freaking awesome. Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. Very interesting Bobby call there.
Yeah, we covered a lot. Him trying to hitch a ride with his hairdresser. Yankee Stadium. Classic.
Jay says, who believes this actually happens? Look, after Bobby no-showed the draft party, and I had to disappoint people who were asking me, where's Bobby? And said, he couldn't make it, money, all this. I am not going to sit here and believe Bobby's coming to this Yankee outing until I actually see him walk in to Yankee Stadium and sit down in the same section as us.
Yeah, this is a believe it when you see it instance now. You got burned once, you're not going to do it again.
Hit the like button if you haven't. Comments, questions, your super chats. We'll cut the line. B Show wants to know who has bigger boobs, Bobby or Beast. The answer to this is, I think, Beast, if I had to guess.
Yeah, well, Bobby's been walking though, right? Like, so I would think that Bobby's maybe getting a breast reduction here with all this walking.
Yes, and don't forget, we also got a very up-to-date look at Beast man boobs, because Beast yesterday or 2 days ago, he released this video after he believes he defeated Bobby Beasley, who, led by the Asmaniacs, Mr. Bonesy, etc., was, as I was telling you before, exposed on this show.
Everybody, how are you all doing tonight? Right now, I'm in a great mood because I finally crushed that son of a bitch, Bobby Beasley. Now, he is now non-existent. He's a low-life, cocksucking, smuggling piece of human garbage. He's been destroyed, and now, after being exposed all over the Jake Asman show, now the time has come for me to be at peace. And, after all, after what he's done for 3 years, he's finally been exposed. I warned you, Bobby Beasley, that this day will be your last. And it was your last. Goodbye, Bobby Beasley. I'll see you in the pits of hell. And when you get there, make sure you burn in hell.
Point Beast Breaker, I'm going to say, in this challenge here.
Unbelievable. Cincy Matt says, there goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. We love that. Ladies and gentlemen, last chance to get your question asked and potentially answered by Matt O'Leary. Let's see. Ryan says, that is disturbing. Holy smokes. I would agree.
The hair is really what does it for me. I think that's my favorite part about the Beast Breaker persona, the mohawk he's got going on.
Any truth to the rumor that you're considering that hairstyle for your wedding in November?
It's definitely in the top 3, I would say. Top 3 considerations.
And by the way, when can Bonesy expect his wedding invitation? He was messaging me. Now, I'll tell you this. Don't give Bonesy the mic at your wedding, because if you let him give a speech, it's going to be going on for the next year. His speech for winning Asmaniac Men it finally just ended yesterday. It had been going on for a week straight.
Noted. So last time I was on the air, I with Mr. Bonesy, I told him that it has been mailed out. So I don't know. I'm going to blame USPS. I'm going to say I'm off the hook on this one.
There you go. So Bonesy, be on high alert. Fiano says, Brokeback 666 needs a, what is that? That's a
Manzier.
A Manzier or bro. Oh, like from Seinfeld, the bro.
Seinfeld reference. Yeah, that's right.
Rich says, hit the like. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to Times Square, where standing by is a good friend of the show, Nate, Nate. Hello, Nate.
Guys, how we doing?
Nate, how are you?
Just got on. I kind of missed the beginning of it. How we doing? Yo, buddy, watch it.
Whoa.
Oh, he took one.
Oh my goodness.
You all right? Watch where you're fucking going, Nate.
Man. Wait, hang on. I know you.
We're here in Times Square with Craig live. Don't worry, Matt. I know you took the bait. I know you thought I took him out again. Don't worry. It was a different guy. Mrs. Craig has her heart in her throat right now. Someone did try to help. Someone leaned over to try to help Craig and thought I really took this man out because I did come on the pedestrian walkway. I apologize, all pedestrians. We're on our way over to the Mets game. I know it's perfect timing that Matt was here again when we took him off. We almost took out a pedestrian in this area within a couple of seconds.
Nate, I'm gonna lift the curtain. So Nate told me, "Hey, are you gonna take calls on the show?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "It will be right around this time." I saw you were on, and I quickly, in real time, put it together. Oh my God, he's gonna hit Craig, and I knew Matt wouldn't know. I picked up on it, so Matt's
Oh
reaction
my
was
gosh.
genuine. That was amazing. Oh my,
Oh,
so
That was
great.
good. Yeah, I didn't want to tell too many people. I was actually supposed to be the one going down. I was like, I'll hop off the bike. We'll get into it. So Craig just took one for the team live. That wasn't planned. He just went to the ground. I think he's all good. But
you got to do things properly, right?
exactly.
That's amazing. That was great.
I've
Love
finally
it.
been
Love
hit
it.
by a bike in Manhattan. I've made it.
And it's documented.
Cross it off the
Send
list.
the clip to everyone. It's international.
Straight to
now.
my lawyer.
I need the
All right.
replay. Gator, get me the replay of that. We got to break down the film on that. Great acting by Craig. Great
It was
performance by
incredible.
Nate.
This is a 70-pound bike, and I'm not too small myself, so I hope it's all good.
I'm well padded. I'm good.
Well padded, exactly. All
That's
right, we're on
awesome.
the way to City Field. Matt, we're going to see the best team in baseball. You already know.
LGM, baby. Let's go. Enjoy.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Love it. Nate and Craig in New York together. What it's all about. Craig is back. I'm supposed to go to the Yankees game with Craig and some Asmaniacs on Saturday, weather permitting. But I got my boomerang ready. I'm ready to see Craig in Australia. Can't wait.
That I genuinely did not realize that was Craig at first. That was incredible. I was going, holy shit, back-to-back weeks where he almost killed somebody on the road.
That was amazing. Yeah, that's why I'm so glad you were on today when that happened, because what happened last week on the show.
So
Oh,
good.
that was great. Perfect way to end, Matt. Appreciate you hopping on as always.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Matt O'Leary. Subscribe to his channel, Matt O'Leary NY, if you haven't done so already. Super chat here, which also is 2 raffle entries for Jay Brown. My newborn Jacob is now a Jets fan. Hey, congrats, Jay Brown. Hope everything's going well with your newborn. And here is Jacob's first ever Jet chant, maybe. Love it. Love it. Jack Talks Jet says, Jake, I'm sorry if you answered this earlier. Just tuned in because I'm in school. Do you think Breece will get a second contract? You know, if I had to bet on it, I'd say no. But could Breece get the franchise tag? Like, are you counting that as a second contract? Because I do see the scenario where Breece is really good this year and the Jets use the tag on him and try and keep him. I don't think that's off the table. That's why I didn't want to trade him. Like, why sell low on Breece now? You're trying to be a run-first team. We believe that there's going to be way better coaching this year on the offensive side of the ball. Can we at least see what Breece could do for one more year before we move on from the guy? If he has a great year, you don't automatically lose him. You have his rights. Bonesy says, Matt, I got the invitation. I'll be there. I love it. All right, there's currently no one on the line right now. So if you want in, this is your chance. And let me remind people who maybe forgot, we are back to now once a month revealing the top 10 plus honorable mentions as Maniac Callers of the month. So you have to have called into the show at least once in the month of May to make the top 10 list, which will come out the first week of June. So all calls from today and going forward now count towards the new rankings. So keep that in mind. Bring it when you make your calls on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline right now is our good friend of the program, the Purple Belt Mike. Hello, Mike.
What's up, dude? I'm just about to get into a set right now.
Let's go, baby.
I heard you had no one online, so I said I'll call him while I'm working out. I like the Jets draft picks, and like they said, I got beasts back. So that's all I had to say, Jake.
When are you fighting on the next UFC undercard, Mike?
Not fighting in the UFC undercard.
Leon is saying that you're juicing. Is this true?
No, I'm not. Why do you put me full screen here?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's all I got. What did he say? Mike's a main eventer. No. Nope. And lean and mean and miserable. Maybe.
That's right. You look mean. You look tough. I like that in you. That's spirit. But are you? Question: are you thinking about going into UFC if you keep doing this?
No, I'm 34 years old, man. I passed my prime for that stuff.
Okay. Just making sure. You look
I just-
good, but
I just like training. That's it.
hey, that's good. That's good for you. That's good cardio for you. That keeps the body alive. That's supposed to be good for you. But I'm feeling good today. I'm in a happy mood. It's except for the weather. That's the shitty part. But that's the way everything is meant to be. But tomorrow night, let me just say this. Hey, Knicks, get your heads out of your ass and play
tonight.
smart basketball.
That's
Do it
tonight.
now and get it over with.
That's tonight.
Oh,
we gotta do it tonight.
Yeah, tonight is time. That means get up, get your balls in place, and play smart basketball. And no one wearing those blue jerseys. We're at home. We should be wearing white, not blue. Jake was right about it. Am I not right, Jake? Yes or no?
I believe the Knicks should always wear their whites at home, 100%. I don't like all the alternate jerseys. That to me is a staple. Knicks should always be wearing the home whites. They're on the road tonight, though, Bees. Keep that in mind. They're in Detroit. Got to close it out in 6 on the road. Dre is on the line. He joins us. Dre, I know you said that you like the Yankees, even though you're a Met fan. Are you coming to our meetup on the 29th at Yankee Stadium?
So that being the first day that I'm going to be 50 years old, I'm not sure because I don't know what my plans are yet for my birthday. It's the day after my birthday. I would
come celebrate your 50th birthday in New York City that weekend.
I'll do that, and then I'll celebrate with y'all in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I have no problems with that. And I would wear like Yankee gear to the Yankee Stadium. I wouldn't wear like Mets gear, but I would like if I know how I don't want to fight my way out of the Bronx. So that's why I wouldn't wear the Mets gear to that, or I'll just come like calm and wave a banner or a flag or something.
I love that.
But it's always New York over everybody else, no matter what Nate says. I actually thought Nate was about to kill Craig. I was very concerned. So I don't know. I hate to see Breece go. Like I'd like for us to keep on Breece. I know that's like the unpopular opinion. Like running backs. Oh, we just run through those. But I think honestly, I think Breece has done a lot to like warrant a second contract with the Jets. I just, this is a new regime, so it kind of has to prove himself all over again. But at the same token, talent is talent. And I think you have a point where now that talent's going to be properly coached. Maybe the line being, under better coaching is going to perform better and things like that. So we hope to see. I don't know. I try to be positive, but my heart's not really in it because like I'm still dealing with all of the trauma of last year and everything like that. So I'm just like, whatever.
I get it. No, they got to prove it to us, just because it's a new regime doesn't mean the new is good. They could just be bad, different type of bad. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm trying to see what's going on. Like, I don't know what I need to do. Everybody has like a shtick now, like everybody has like a thing to do. I don't know if I'm gonna, I won't be Dre from the couch. Like I'm sitting here now, but I'm working on having a section in the downstairs in the basement where I live. I'm trying to turn that kind of like into a man cave, little area. At least start from scratch and have a couple of like Jets themes, Mets themes, things like that.
No 28 touchdown island. We're not running it back.
I don't know. I don't know if I can. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to. I'd love to run it back. I'd love to say wild stuff, but I'll go. Maybe I'll start with half. We'll start with a 14 touchdown island. We'll see if we can get halfway there. Then maybe we can bump it up to 28. But yeah. I'm just forever muted until maybe I'll be really excited on the opening day, the home opener. I'll definitely be in full because I'll be honest, like the draft party, it brought me back into it had the same kind of energy that that T Square had, but it was better, it was stronger, and it was like saw all my peoples, and it was great to see everybody. And then all we're doing is picking a guy, and we were only picking one guy. It wasn't like we were getting like multiple draft picks. It was just round one, everybody go through. The Knicks won that night too, so everything was all going good. I definitely will be at the next one. Nice to see JJ, Bonesy, all the crew, big fella, Nate, and just like Snowball said, too many people to name. It's not there for me yet. I'm not Bonesy.
Well, I got some news for you, Dre. All right. There's something I got to bring to your attention. I have to bring it to your attention immediately. Okay. Comment was made by Alan. Dre was the best in the hospital bed. Let's create that.
Oh my God. I don't know. I was my authentic self for sure. I mean, but
should I put him in the hole for this comment? You decide.
Yeah, I'm tired of Allen. He gotta go.
Ladies and gentlemen, farewell to asshole Allen.
Now look what you've done, Allen. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Yeah, but Bobby said that Allen is a nice guy. I saw that.
Because Allen bought him dinner. That's all it took.
Yeah. Well, Bobby's just letting everybody know he can be bought.
Unreal, man. Unreal.
I don't know. I don't have any wild takes. I was all living my Mets high, and then the Mets lost last night, and I watched the whole thing. It was sad. The streak is broken. The home streak is broken.
Oh my God, they're only whatever at
now
home.
In double digits with our loss column. I'm devastated. I don't know what to do.
I think you'll be all right.
I knew something was wrong when it was April, and I was too excited to being a Mets fan. I was like, it's too early for this happiness. Something's gonna happen.
Bang Mateo says, I thought I retired, Drake Correa.
Yeah, well, Bang Mateo, you never call in, and you're like such an afterthought. You're basically, your claim to fame is thinking you're telling me or doing something, and I just ignore you. So whatever you say, if other people enjoy it and you think that brings you something, that's great. Enjoy riding my coattails, bro. You'll never call in. You'll never go to an event, so I don't even take you seriously. Like you're not in my perception. I don't even perceive you. You have to do more. What do you mean? What's up with my camera? What is going on with my camera?
It does kind of look very VHS camcorder like at the bottom. It's kind of like doing a little glitch. Yeah, it's like, are you on your phone? What are you on?
No, I'm on my laptop, and I was like, okay, let me do it this way because I know on my laptop I have good audio. I know I've had audio problems with my phone.
Audio wise, you sound great, but go watch the callback after. It's very it really is. It's like VHS camcorder style.
It's StreamYard. Where's the tracking button on the VCR? For all you young people, you don't know what I'm talking about, but this used to be a tracking problem, something where the heads had to go in sync, and if they went out of order with the way the magnetic tape worked, you would get this, you have to fine tune things. So, I mean, what I can do is turn off and turn on my camera, see if that would work, or I can always call back in. But I'll leave it at this. I won't bore you guys with my talents and everything like that. I have a 50-year-old camera that I promise you this laptop is like pretty new.
Trey, you're the man. Call back anytime. And
all right, brother.
Down with Bang Mateo forever. That's always the mantra.
Yep, I'll make t-shirts.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for one of the all-time greats, a dear friend of the program, someone we love, respect, and fear. Dre. Let's go to Dre. He's up next on the Gusbuster Hotline. Dre, what do you got for us? Oh, my God.
Hey, Jake. Hey, I gotta be a little quiet, man, because my boss is right over there. The Jets. I think they're definitely gonna win the division.
Who are you talking to?
I'm working. I'm selling.
What are you doing? Are you on the FaceTime?
No. This is I'm selling this guy. I almost got the sale. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get this sale.
You better. Or your job, we have quotas to meet, you know.
Jake, I got to go. I got to go back to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to get it.
You better.
I'll get it done.
You better. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. All right.
All right, Trey, we'll let you go. Oh, my God. I swear to God, Gator does not tell me when he's doing these things. And it just popped up as Dre, and I go, he looks a little different, but I got like a very small window to see who the callers are. And I did not know that was a impersonator. I really did not. I thought it might have actually been Dre, but I was like, why does he look a little different? But the picture's so small, I couldn't tell. And I was genuinely surprised there. Oh, man. I think we got to end it there. We're not topping that. I mean, that was brilliant. If you want more Gator, he's in the Discord. He will like randomly post different videos. Like he did a mashup of me and Aaron Rodgers singing Taylor Swift together, which is just completely outrageous. Like I don't even know how to describe what Gator posts in the Discord. So sign up for the Patreon so you can get access to that. Happy Friday, everybody. I mean, that was brilliant. The Office background. Who was voicing the other part of the bit there? I mean, I got a million questions after that. Incredible. Look who's called back. Our guy Dre is on the line right now. Dre, how we doing? Not at the office?
I had to call in because I saw Gator's impression of me. It was fantastic. I literally was crying at work. Then I ran around to talk to a couple people about it, and that video is fantastic. It is just cinematic triumph. You're going to love it. Shout out to Gator, my guy.
The Gator impression. I mean, one more time, I'll put it up on screen. I mean, this was outstanding. Look at that. The attention, the detail. Who's Gator going to impersonate next? JJ writes in, we're going to see Gator with a cigar next. Shout out to Neil. Neil is definitely on the short list of someone who could be impersonated by Gator. Oh, was that foreshadowing, huh? Because the Neil one might be the best Gator's ever done. More of your calls right now before we wrap. Let's say hi to Dame, who's next. Hey, Dame.
Hey, what's going on, Jake?
What's going on, Dame? What do you got for us?
No, yesterday I was bored, so I was just looking through all the contracts in the league, and I low-key feel like Garrett and Sauce might end up getting the same deal or very similar. I feel like they can both get around $31 million and be cool. So I feel like they'll probably get signed around the same time. And I also wanted to let you know, I'm hoping that at some point Andrew Fialco, that does the film study, does a review of one of the undrafted free agents that we picked up. That guy out of West Virginia, like a fat guy. I feel like he'll be good at the D tackle spot. Like I feel like
is that the guy with like fat in his name, right?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. But he looks really good. He's not a pass rusher at all. But from what I've seen, like he's good at stopping the run. So I feel like he might sneak up for some Jet fans.
I'll take him. We're definitely gonna have Fialco on. I already reached out. We're planning a film review on some of the draft picks, and then I'm sure we'll mix in some of the intriguing UDFAs as well. We were supposed to actually, to lift the curtain, have someone on that I really respect, breaking down the Jets offense and how it could be unlocked potentially with Mason Taylor. But with the Jordan Travis breaking news and the fifth-year option stuff, I moved it to a different date because I felt like that was more important breaking news-wise. But we're going to do some film stuff coming up because people seem to really like that, which is cool.
Yeah. And Mason Taylor reminds me a lot of Dustin Keller too. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, they haven't had a legit tight end since Dustin, so that'd be
that was my
awesome.
favorite player.
Dude, someone in the chat said this. It was very funny. We were joking around with the peanut butter skin for Mason Taylor, and Dustin Keller, similar body type, similar skin. Maybe that's the key for a Jet tight end.
I'm hoping so, man. But thank you, Jake. Thanks for bringing me on, man.
You got it, Dan. Great call as always. From Dame to Adam, who's next on the show. What's up, Adam?
Hey, so I got a fun question for you. So let's assume the roster is really not going to change too much from here on out. Who do you think is going to have the longest touchdown?
Ooh, like when you say longest touchdown, you mean like yards,
like most
reception,
yards,
or rushing yards?
Who's going to have the big breakout? More than 40 yards, more than 70 yards, maybe. Who do you think is the most likely?
And we're not talking special teams like kick return, punt return.
We could. I can open that up. We can maybe get, if it's special teams or otherwise, what do you think is going to be the longest play and who by?
I think it comes down to two names, honestly. I think it's Breece and I think it's Garrett. I know people are going to be, Smith is going to have it because he's so, maybe. I can't completely rule that out. I would bet on Breece on a long run or Garrett on a bomb. I think they're going to throw a lot deeper more often this year. I think they're going to design some stuff to kind of create some shots long. And I could see Garrett on a deep post beating a guy and taking it 65 plus yards, that type of thing.
I like that. It's good guesses. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know last year, we had a really long kick return for a touchdown. And then we also had the longest catching touchdown, I believe, was Devontae last year, I think. So
yeah, it had to have been it. Yeah, I can't think of a play that was better than that.
So so let's sub that in with Garrett, and let's get another special teamer long touchdown. That'd be pretty awesome.
I mean, let's have more than one. Let's have a bunch.
Yeah, let's make this a really fun air raid offense. Although that sounds unlikely with a running quarterback, but who the heck knows? I mean, he could throw it too. You never know. So I'm thinking positive today. Just want to have some fun, with who we've got.
I love it. Adam, great call. Corley, someone wrote, is an interesting one. If he could not drop the ball. Someone look up how long would that touchdown have been if he didn't drop it before he scored. Was it 40 yards? I'm trying to remember. I was there, and my angle of the play, it's tough for me to – I know, were they already on the Texan side of the field on that play? I think they were. They were driving already. It was a really good drive. That's why it was so maddening. You know what? If I had to pick one, I'm going to say it's Breece because I think Breece is going to have a bounce back year. I do. Contract year. He's aware of it. And how many times did Breece break a long run before this past year? Honestly, Kyle might have nailed it here. Fields could be the answer. Great question by Adam. We need questions like that. Boomtown, bonus points to any caller who asks an intriguing question that the chat then gets to interact with and we all get to weigh in on. It's a good discussion. It was in the red zone, the Corley play, so it wasn't as long as I thought in my head. Fields might be noted. Fields might be the answer, I'm saying, because think about it. We've never had a quarterback who could run like Fields. We never have. I could see that, right? I mean, Fields is like Lamar Jackson with the ball. He had 1,100 rushing yards in the season. 1,100. When was the last time the Jets had a 1,000-yard rusher? Was it Chris Ivory in 2015? Am I forgetting anyone? When was the last time a Jet running back had 1,000 yards rushing in a season? Breece never did it. Came close in 2023. It was 6 yards away. Remember Zach Wilson had that long touchdown run? I think Fields could do something like that. Someone could check this, but I'm pretty sure the Jets have not had a 1,000-yard rusher since Ivory in 2015. Crazy. All right, let's get back to your calls before we wrap up. We have open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. Let's say hello right now to the great, the incredible, David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
What's up, David?
Hey, you give me an opportunity. I've been meaning to talk to you about this for a long time. I do have to get into the Jets thing, but this gets into the Knicks. I went to school in Pennsylvania, Reading High School, very rich in basketball tradition, and I totally agree with you when you said about the Whites home. And I remember back to games when they'd come out in their white uniforms, and there was nothing like it. So my school originally, and I'm not going to insult your intelligence, I know you know who I'm talking about. Originally, one of the coaches was Pete Carroll back in the day. And I went to school, and I'm here again, I'm not going to insult your intelligence, with Stu Jackson.
Stu Jackson, okay.
Stu Jackson, he ended up being like the guy to make judgments on the fines and all that kind of stuff. But he didn't play in the NBA. But he coached with Pitino, and then when Pitino went to the Knicks, he coached there. And then when Pitino left, they gave Stu the chance to coach the Knicks for a year or two. This is way back, and I was in my glory. But anyway, I just anyway, he ended up coaching the Knicks. And anyway, I went to school with the great Stu Jackson. He was a year ahead of me and all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is awesome. And he was such a humble kid. And I was shy back then, and I didn't become friends with him. He was a year ahead of me, but he had this big afro, and he'd actually walk the halls with his head down. I mean, he was such a modest kid. Everybody loved him. So I just wanted to. I've been meaning to mention that to you for the longest time, since you're a big Knicks fan. But anyway, on the Jets, I just got off the phone not that long ago with my buddy down here in Florida I used to work with up in Pennsylvania, big Colts fan, and we were talking about the draft, and I congratulated him on Tyler Warren, because before the draft we were talking, they needed a tight end, we needed a tight end, and Taylor was one of the ones in the mix for either the Jets or the Colts, and so we were hashing out notes and everything. So I'm happy for him. But I said, Phil, we got Jason Taylor's son, and I don't know. I mean, you don't know, but he seems like he's a real deal. Could be a good possession receiver, and the whole bit. So anyway, he was happy. The Colts. He was happy with their draft, and I was happy with our draft. Except the debate on the wide receiver. We could have took a defensive tackle. So, but anyway, all good. My positivity is forever growing.
David, you're the man. Keep being positive. We need that energy.
Okay, Jake. Thank you.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Great call by David T. A couple super chats to get caught up on. Kyle Clifton says, Boy Green tweeted out a photo of Fields from the practice field looking jacked. LFG in for the raffle. Kyle is due again. Clifton in the Asmaniac raffle with this $10 super chat for 2. So here's the tweet from Boy Green. And look, God bless Boy Green for still somehow being this excited about OTA photos. Right? God bless him. I can't get there. I can't do it. Here's the picture. Fields is looking freaking jacked. Get ready to see a lot of Fields and Breece Hall running game. Like, I don't know. Like, this doesn't excite me. There was like video that he tweeted too of like, I guess the Jets put it out first. Or like Fields throwing a pass to Garrett. Doesn't hit the same as the first Rodgers to Garrett pass we saw after they got him 2 years ago. Remember that video? Played that on loop a million times. I don't know. I'm not saying don't be excited, but like I can't be that jacked up over a photo of Fields handing the ball off to Breece. We're not wearing pads, and it's May 1st. But hey, God bless Boy Green, man. Someone's got to be positive. We're presented today by Huga House. You see the performance line hat I'm wearing? They're available now in all different colors. Promo code ASMAN if you want one for yourself, and you'll save 20%. Use that code at checkout. HugaHouse.com. Promo code ASMAN at checkout. Thank me later. Click the link in the description if you forget to go to HUEGAHouse.com. That's Huga House. Promo code ASMAN for 20% off. Super chat from Bang Mateo. Petrified of our staff coaching our quarterback of the future. Well, you don't even know what this staff is yet, Bang. So before you write them off and say they suck, can we see? Maybe Tanner Angstren's really good with quarterbacks. I don't know. We'll find out. And if they do a good job with Fields, that will give you a lot of confidence in them. I know it will for me. Mr. Downtown's been an Asmaniac for 10 months. Does Beast have a job or is he on house arrest? We've never seen him outside or a different location. We have seen Beast on a bus before. We've seen him at a Wendy's. We've seen him at PetSmart. He's typically in the lair, but we have seen Beast out and about. I guess you just haven't seen some of those shows. The problem is when Beast goes out and about, the internet connection on his phone is trash. It's only good when he's using his webcam and mic from the attic. So Beast either has to use a different web browser from his phone or just only do calls in the attic. And we prefer Beast to be in the attic so we at least can hear him coherently.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Truths, Jake. Truths. Mr. Downtown. I don't think you know who the heck I am, Sonny. I think you need a reevaluation in your brain and your reevaluation in your hearing department. Go to the doctor, kid. Go get your ears cleaned out and make sure when you do, have the ENT department clean your ears out with a little thing called the succulation going. You need to do that a little more often and pay attention a little bit more wiser. Thank you very much. And as for me, I'm about to get ready to go shopping. I got to go get cereal, watermelon, and some beef. Man's choice. And also some man's chicken. That's right, Jack. Put it in the bank and smoke it because I ain't got much time. And tonight, go Knicks and F Boston. We are going to kick your ass, boy. Yeah! Ride 'em, cowboy, boy. Yeah! Now let's go on to that next caller, Jack, shall we, Jake? Let's move it on to the next line. Shall we, boys? Yeah! See you later, alligator. Woo!
You get the fuck out.
They got to beat the Pistons first, Beast. And then they'll play Boston. Mr. Downtown responding to Beast says, kid, I'm a grown-ass man. I did appreciate Beast talking to the wrong microphone, wrong side of it, and not even having it plugged in there. Now that is greatness. Imagine running into Beast Breaker at the grocery store. What an experience that will be. On that note, thank you all for watching. We're back this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern. The projected guest is Will Parkinson. We'll get his first thoughts on the show, on the Jets draft, and much more. Thank you all again. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Join us in a few hours if you can. Let's go Knicks tonight, baby. Thanks again to Matt O'Leary for coming on. Join the Patreon if you want to come to our next meetup at Yankee Stadium. Jets. Jets.
Chicken soup, loading up Dune. Charles Gorman fumigating the room. Gorman just did a nuclear shot. Now Gorman straws glowing in the dark. One spoonful, a neighborhood dies. One slice spell, an orphanage cries. Jake's buying his food again, so Gorman eating rich. Steak and beans makes his sphincter twitch. Charles grin wide, stomach on tilt. Booty hole tighter than a kilt. Mama soup is a potion of pain. King Lowski wants the recipe again. Rear end popping like popcorn shells. Broke the sound barrier twice as well. Eating them snacks, a swabby collapse. One fart drew maps of the craps. Gorman's cheeks got an OnlyFans. $5 a month for the premium plan. Chicken soup, loading up Dune. Charles Gorman fumigating the room. Gorman just did a nuclear shot. Now Gorman's straws glowing in the dark. One spoonful, a neighborhood dies. One slice spell, an orphanage cries.
Jake Asman didn't just feed a legend. Jake Asman armed a biological weapon.
Gorman's farts got shockwave powers. He's Lord of the Ring like he's in the Two Towers. Chicken soup thick like paste. Booty blast smell like nuclear waste. Jake bought his lunch, felt like a bro. Now the ozone layer's got a peephole. Cheeks on a mission, gas on a tour. Like 2020, wear a mask out the door. Slip and slide, not the bathroom stall. One booty pop, evacuates the mall. Charles out here making history repeat. The first man to fart visibly. Yeah.
You get the fuck out.